What's going on, guys? My name is Dalton Meckie, and I'm coming to you live from the YouTube/podcast NFC Beasts. So today I'm going to go ahead and break down the NFC playoff picture, especially as it pertains to the last two spots, those two wild card spots, right? Because Dallas pretty much has the lock for the 5th spot. And then you can go maybe toss up between 2 and 3, but we'll get into that. Alright, so first let's start with Washington. Actually, no. Excuse me. Let's start with Seattle first. So they play San Fran at home. I think they're going to lose. That's a tough team right now. Then they play at KC. Ooh, another tough one. KC's still going to be fighting for that first seed. So they're going to lose that game. Then they go ahead and play the Jets. That's going to be a big game, and I have them losing it because the Jets are also going to be fighting for their spot. There's going to be a little bit more hope for the Jets, I think. Anyways, then they can have a win against the Rams to finish out their year. So that takes the Seahawks from 7-6 all the way to 8-9. So now the Giants coming in at 7-5-1 right now. They go at Washington. This is the game of the year for both of these teams, and honestly, I think that Washington's going to win it at home. They have a top 5 defense. The Giants are one of the last defenses in the league right now. Maybe they get some guys back off injury. Who knows? But ultimately, Giants are going to get this, or Washington's going to get this win. Okay? Then so now their hearts are broken. They're going to go play at Minnesota. I think they're going to lose that one too. That's going to pretty much cap their season. Unless a few things fall into place for them. They're going to need help if they lose these next 2 games, right? So then I got them winning against Indianapolis. Then this last one's interesting because Dallas and the Eagles play on Christmas Eve, and if the Eagles win that game, the division race is over. Dallas has a 5 spot, so their season as of the last game is going to be over, right? So you got Eagles, Giants. I'm going to give the Giants the win this time, with the Eagles most likely resting their starters. But who knows? It might not even matter. So that would put the Giants at 9-7-1. Okay. So now let's go to Washington. Washington obviously going to get this win at home. Just talked about that. Then they go at San Fran. I think they're going to lose that one. Then they got Cleveland at home. Cleveland's been a little rough this year. Deshaun Watson's not fully back into form. I think they're lucky they get him in one of his first few starts here, because if that man starts rolling, I mean, that team is dangerous. But I think they got it on lock here. Then, like we mentioned before, the Dallas-Eagles game is going to be very important. I think Dallas is going to have nothing left to play for, which is why I'm going to give Washington the win here. That'll take them from 7-5-1 to 10-6-1. And so there's your first team in, right? Now we got Detroit. This is, I'm going to put a star by this. This is also the game of the year for the Detroit Lions. They are hot right now. Nobody can stop that offense. If they can just get that defense figured out, which in the last 3 weeks has given up 50 less than their average. All right, so they're only giving up 360 a game in these last three, and against good teams too. Okay, they played, hold on, I have it in my notes. They played the Vikings, the Bills, and the Jags the last 3 weeks. Those are three good offenses. Okay, so not bad. That defense can figure something out. They can make the run. Okay, so biggest game of the year for the Lions. I think they're gonna pull this one out, get the win, and in that case, let's look at the rest of their schedule. They got at Carolina, win. Chicago, win. At Green Bay, win. All right, so that puts Detroit from a 6-7 up to a 10-6, and so that these two teams out. We got Washington would get the 6th seed. Oh, whoops, this would be 10-7. Excuse me. And Detroit will get the 7th seed. So now, just in a minute, I'm going to come back to you with a projected bracket of this. But first, let's go through the 49ers and the Vikings, okay? So 49ers, they got at Seattle. I think that's a win. Washington, that's a win. At Las Vegas, that's a win. And then against Arizona, come on, Kyler's out. That's a win. So they're going to win out. Okay. So that would put them from a 9-4 up to a 13-4. Vikings, look at this schedule. If this isn't the easiest damn schedule to finish your season, I don't know what is. Indianapolis, Giants at home, then at Green Bay, at Chicago. Granted, talking about division games, but when your season's on the line and you have a chance to get 2 seed instead of 3 seed, I think they're going to pull it off, all right? So let's give them all wins. That puts them at a 14-3. That's going to give them the 2 seed. And it's funny because I think them winning these last 4 games are actually going to be what gets them kicked out of the playoffs first. So when I come back to you with the bracket, you're going to see why. All right, guys, I am back with my bracket, and I have a little special guest here, my daughter, Piper. You want to say hi, Piper?
Hi.
Say I'm Piper.
I'm April.
All right, so let's get into this. So we got the bracket here with the seedings. We got Eagles at number 1. We got the Vikings at 2. Lions at 7. Bucks at 4. They're going to win their division. Cowboys, they already locked up that 5 seed for the wild card. You don't think they locked that up? You think they might take a shot at the division? Now, don't say that. Just because you like the Cowboys does not mean you need to say that. Daddy likes the Eagles, okay? So, we got the Eagles as the number 1 seed. Got it? Good. 49ers as the number 3 seed.
I like Cowboys.
And, yeah, she likes Cowboys. We're not even getting into that. Washington in at number 2, or at number 6, okay? So, these would be your matchups. The reason I have the Vikings and Lions up here is because this is what I mentioned before. The Vikings might win their way into a first-round loss in the playoffs because I do not like this matchup. They just lost to them. They typically, well, let me back up. So typically I don't like to put a team that has a really bad defense as winning any playoff games, but the Vikings have a really bad defense too. So if this is the matchup, which is very realistic, then we're looking at a very possible shootout in which it's Goff versus Cousins. And who knows at that point? I mean, Goff has the slight edge in terms of success in the postseason. So who knows? So I got the Lions on that one. Okay. Lions are going to win that game. So now we got Bucks Cowboys. Listen, since I got my little daughter right here, I'll let the Cowboys have this win, but just mark my words. Remember that I said this. Tom Brady might roll up in there and beat you guys. So look out for that. But you should win that game. I'll give you the win in that game. Cowboys. You can see. Alright, Cowboys win that game. Okay? So now we got the 49ers against Washington. Now what's going to happen here? I think we all know what's going to happen here.
Daddy.
Heineke does not match up. I'm sorry.
Daddy.
49ers defense is too good.
Daddy, guess
Yeah.
what?
What?
My mom likes Cowboys.
She likes Cowboys?
Yeah, my mom likes Cowboys.
Alright, well you heard it here first.
My
No wonder why Dad doesn't like the Cowboys. Anyways, so, diehard Eagles fan, long life Eagles fan. But I'm trying not to be biased
Daddy,
here.
guess
Alright.
what?
Alright. So we got Eagles Lions now up here. This is the game that kind of scares me. Actually, it most scares me because if the Eagles play against the Lions, that's going to be a very, very tough matchup in terms of a shootout. If the Eagles turn the ball over like they have in the past, you know, if we get a repeat of the Washington game against the Lions, who can score, that could get ugly. But I think they won't turn the ball over. Jalen Hurts, only 3 interceptions this year. Only 1 was his fault. I got the Eagles in this game.
Daddy, 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 next.
All right. Let's not talk about stories right now, okay? Remember, we're doing our video right now.
Oh,
Okay?
let's read Cowboys.
All right.
Let's read the Eagles.
All right, that's great. All right. So we got Cowboys versus the 49ers. So what's going to happen in this one? Well, let me tell you something. The Cowboys are an awful team when they have to pass the ball more than they run the ball. If you look at the stat, I think they're like 6-14. Don't fact. I mean, you could fact check me there. It's not exact, but they have a very bad record if they have to pass the ball more. Okay. Now, what do the 49ers do well? They stop the run. They're averaging only giving up 75 yards a game. That is well better than the league. That is an incredible number. 49ers take this W. Now, I don't think that statement is really going to hold true against the Eagles because the Eagles can pass the ball. And not only that, but when they do pass the ball, Jalen can get out of the pocket. He can make moves with his legs. I think this is a better matchup for the Eagles and one that, okay, you might argue that both have equally good rosters if you go by position. You know, this is a toss-up game, NFC Championship. Everything's on the line. I think it comes down to quarterback play. Jalen Hurts versus an untested 7th rounder. I mean, Jalen Hurts is having an MVP year. You have to say there's a better chance he'll have a better game than him. And that's why E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles.
Daddy.
Good? Alright, well, it's kid approved. Let's get it, boys. Over and out. Oh, and if you like the video, please subscribe and hit like and shoot us a couple comments, alright? Have a good one. Say bye.
Bye.